So my name is Paul Epstein.
What school are you associated with?
I'm currently not directly with a school. Up until last June, I was the head of the Rochester Montessori School in Minnesota. And prior to that, I was the head of a school in Michigan. And prior to that, head of a school in Illinois.
Wow. What got you interested in Montessori?
Well, I was a college sophomore, and I wanted to study how people learn. I thought originally I'd be a biologist, and instead I found myself taking a psychology course, which I really enjoyed, and then that led me to a course in early childhood education. And I had never heard of Montessori until that course.
So how long have you known about Montessori?
Ever since I was 19, which is a long time ago. Probably about 45 years ago.
How do you think Montessori affects students in their future?
Well, I think the effects are really, really huge. Specifically, there is some research that suggests Montessori graduates are going to have higher high school and higher college grade point averages. There's more certainty that Montessori graduates have. And there's a growing excitement that Montessori graduates are speaking about. I've informally been interviewing Montessori graduates for the last 8 years. People who started at age 2 or 3 and either went through 8th grade or even some who went through 12th grade. And it's incredible. I've met people from different countries and everybody's saying the same thing. And what they're saying is they feel like from Montessori they know how to do things. They know how to take an idea and implement it. They're not afraid to try. They're not afraid to fail. They know how to work effectively with other people. And they're complaining if they're working with students who did not go to Montessori. Let's say they're now in a traditional high school or they're in a traditional college. They're saying, I don't want to do group work with non-Montessori friends because they don't know how to do anything. They're not interested in anything. They don't know how to initiate. They don't know how to follow through. So I'm hearing this growing voice of what I call Montessori graduates. It's very positive.
How has being part of a Montessori community affected your personal life?
Well, it's the only thing I've done professionally as an adult. After I graduated, I went on and took Montessori teacher training, initially in early childhood. Then a couple years later, I started my doctoral program in anthropology because I heard about anthropology through Montessori. After that, I found my way to the Barry School, where Tim was head of school and in Maryland, and I became a middle and high school teacher. That led me to becoming a school administrator, a college professor where I taught education and some Montessori things, so it's totally taken over my life.
Were you the one who was Robin's teacher?
I had Robin occasionally as a student, but when I was at the Barry School, he was in elementary, and where I was teaching middle and high school.
If you were in an elevator and someone asked you what Montessori is, how would you explain to them?
I like to ask that person a couple of questions first. What I like to say is, well, are you interested in Maria Montessori, the person? Are you interested in a philosophy called Montessori? A school system called Montessori? Are you interested in a career, a profession called Montessori? There's professional organizations. I try to figure out, of all of that, what is the person wanting to know? And usually there's a person who asked the question just to be polite. You know, they saw a name tag that I might be wearing. It says Montessori Conference. But occasionally there are people who really do want to know. And I find by asking them to be a little more specific, we can have a little bit more than a 30-second chat.
And what do you say when they say Montessori philosophy?
What I say is that Montessori is a way of understanding that each one of us is unique. Each one of us can only learn in the time frame that we're ready for. We can only learn when we're ready, not when we're not. I say that because each one of us is unique and we can learn in our own unique way, we have a potential that we can truly develop and maximize. And that it's about learning to think, it's about learning how to contribute to others, and it's about being quite effective in life.
Can you think of a Montessori moment?
Oh, I can think of hundreds. I can think of hundreds. Well, I guess on this idea of that we each learn in our own unique way, that we each learn in a time frame only when we're ready. I once had a 4-year-old child come into the classroom, and that particular morning I did not have a lot of sleep. I was a graduate student, and I'd been staying up not only the night before, but several nights before that, so I was quite exhausted. And I was also not feeling very well. And this 4-year-old boy spoke in a very loud voice, normally, very loud voice. And I was in the far end of the room where the classroom door is, and I heard him come in the room. He said, "Good morning, Paul." And my first thought was, I can't take this loudness. I'm so exhausted. "How are you?" he said. And I remember quietly saying something like, "I'm fine." And the next thing that happened was a real incredible lesson. So I said we can only learn when we're ready. So this was about me learning something. The next thing that happened was he took his hands, he had walked up to me, and I didn't even hear him approach. He put his hands on my cheeks, and he slowly moved my face. So now we are nose to nose. And he said, "Really? You're fine? Your face doesn't show it." And my takeaway from that moment is children have this amazing ability to know when we're authentic, when we're being honest, when we're being sincere.
Okay, thank you.